My name is Svend Remoe. I'm working for the Research Council of Norway in Oslo, where I work mostly with the international cooperation and recently also with issues on global public goods and the SDGs, the way the STI has been steered towards the SDGs. And I think this has actually been happening over quite some time, because most funding institutions have been able for a long time to organize and prioritize research investments in thematic areas. And we know these thematic areas on climate change, it's in health, it's in education research, and a number of other areas. So this is not a new thing. There is a number of, let's say, obstacles for better, let's say, adoption and use of all the knowledge that we have in addressing the STI investments for SDGs. It's not necessarily only a STI problem. It's a need for a much better translation of that knowledge to very specific uses. For example, pollution in the seas, in the oceans. One particular example could be all the pollution that is there coming from dumped munitions over decades. It's there. There is not much awareness of it, but they represent great risk. So the question is there sufficient awareness and attention to this problem to gear STI investments to that problem? Because it's not sufficient to talk about these things on a very generic level. We need to be very concrete. A better way to get more direction to what we are doing is to create packages of R&D investments, call it missions. Mission-oriented policy is now new on the agenda. And I think this is actually a useful trend, because R&D on STI investments will then be part of a broader package. And that package will help implement that knowledge to a much greater extent than if we only talk about the STI itself. This means about taxation, regulation, and other framework conditions that can be steered towards better use of the STI results that we are talking about. I'll take another example, and it's about oceans again, about the need to generate a lot of data on the ecological status, on fish stocks, and so on and so forth. And to manage these things, we need a much more effective link to policy and authority and the capacity to enforce decisions. For example, closing the commons and issue quotas. So for that we need jurisdictions, we need authority, and we need international cooperation also for doing that.